And we are back. Welcome back, guys, to my channel, Deconstructing Narcissism. I know it's been quite a while since I posted a new video, about a year now. Um, but life got in the way. I got busy with certain jobs. Some things happened. Um, but I wanted to make this video addressing and talking about what narcissistic abuse is and how it has actually affected my life in a variety of ways. Dramatically affected my life to the point where I find it hard to even socialize the slightest, even with people that I've known my entire life. Even people that I've known for years, it's just been hard to socialize with them and talk with them, and just the want to be sociable and active and do things and enjoy and experience life. I have a tremendous problem with that. Getting out, doing any kind of activity whatsoever, whether it be on the computer, whether it be a game, whether it be exercising, especially, I find that extremely difficult to do. Honestly, it takes like most of my effort, most if not all my effort to do, especially after I get done with the working day and I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. Like I said, I wanted to go into a little bit of what narcissistic abuse actually is. So narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional abuse perpetrated by anybody who has narcissistic personality disorder. This emotional abuse is usually, a lot of the times, this emotional abuse is unconscious, but it can be conscious as well. So, types of narcissistic abuse that you will experience by the hand of a person who has narcissistic personality disorder are anything included. Gaslighting, you will be experiencing a lot of gaslighting. Narcissists like to do a lot of what is called gaslighting, which means they will deny your reality. They will say things that might or might not have happened. For example, you could have gone to a park on a Wednesday and came back on a Thursday, and your narcissistic mother or your friend or your family or whoever is in your life with that personality disorder, this is a very vague example, by the way, but they will deny your reality and say, well, you never went to a park on a Wednesday, or you never went to a park on a Tuesday, or that never happened. Or even like a traumatic event that could have happened in your life, you falling and breaking your leg or your arm, or the narcissist inflicting some kind of emotional distress upon you, or even physical harm. They could do something like that and completely deny your reality and completely lie about it and say, well, that never happened. I never did that. Remember, you hurt yourself that one day, and that's why you ended up in the hospital, because you hurt yourself, but you just don't remember. You were blacked out, or they will make up excuses, to any excuse they can, to avoid their bad behavior. And this is one of the many things that people with personality disorders do. They can never, if there's one thing that's for sure with a personality disordered person, is they can never accept responsibility. A person with a narcissistic personality disorder will never be able to accept responsibility for anything, because they do not think that they need to accept any kind of responsibility to begin with. They do not think they have done anything wrong to you. Anything that the narcissistic person has done to you was justified in some way or another. Every single thing they do to you is justified in some way or another. They don't see anything wrong with their behavior, ever. In fact, they will not even question whether or not they have some kind of disorder or something wrong with them. They will not question. You will never hear a person with narcissistic personality disorder question whether or not they have some kind of disorder or some kind of problem, or if something was their fault, because they never think anything is their fault. They will never question it. Never will happen. Never. So that's one way to know if you're dealing with someone who has narcissistic personality disorder. Is just remember, they will never question themselves. They will never question anything they do. They will never be at fault for anything. You will never get a sorry out of them. You might get a pity sorry, I know my parents. I have said sorry out of pity before, but you will never get a true, genuine apology out of them, and you will never have them. You will never get them to admit what they've actually done to you. It will be like prying teeth. It would literally be like prying teeth trying to get these people to admit something that they've done, because they just they for some reason or another they just don't. And I don't know. I'm not an expert. I've lived through a lot of narcissistic abuse with my parents. I lived through 26 years of narcissistic abuse, so I do know quite a lot, but I'm not an expert. I'm still not an expert on the personality disorder itself, but you will never get them to accept or take responsibility for what they did, because they have deluded themselves to a point where they justify it in their own minds of why it's okay to do said thing to you, or why it's okay to abuse you in this way, before they even do it. So before they even do it, narcissists plan these things out. Especially malignant narcissists are the ones that plan these out. When narcissists are also plan things out, but malignant narcissists are the most dangerous ones, because malignant narcissists are on. There's been studies, and there's been experts that have said that malignant narcissism and psychopathy are almost one and the same. They're so similar. Malignant narcissists actually get a kick out of making you feel miserable, making your life miserable. They enjoy being sadistic. They enjoy torturing their victim. They enjoy I mean, how can I really say that? They enjoy making people feel miserable. Um, that's one of them. They get some kind of sick satisfaction out of making people miserable, and you will know. I won't say you guaranteed to know when you meet a malignant narcissist, but you will know that there's definitely something wrong with them. You will see their sadistic side. Maybe not everybody. If they're especially good at covering it up, you might not see their sadistic side. But if they feel like you're someone worthy of them showing their side to you, they will show. If they feel like they can get away with it with you, they will show that side to you. And when you see it, it's gonna scare you a lot. It's gonna scare the shit out of you. But I'm kind of getting off topic. I'm not really sure. I apologize. I'm not really sure where this video is going. Like, I was planning on basically explaining how it affected my life, and I feel like I did that to an extent. But I just kind of got into other personality disorders and what kind of things you can expect from other people with other personality disorders. But yeah, I wanted to get back into how this abuse has affected my life specifically. I stay inside most of the time. I really don't have. I don't feel like I have a personality at all. I don't really remember ever having a personality or ever really being happy. I always kind of had this like sadness and depression looming over me ever since I was a little kid. Ever since, like, as far as I can remember, ever since since the age of 4 or 5 years old, just going in the playground, I've never been able to enjoy myself through as early as I can remember, like preschool or kindergarten. It's just been this persistent, consistent sadness that's loomed over me in my life. And as I got older into first, second, third grade, I did have a few friends throughout those times, but they just started slowly but surely moving away. And we just lost contact and stopped talking to each other. And I never wanted it to be like that, but that's just kind of what happened. We just stopped talking to each other and lost contact. And throughout the years, it was I've mostly school was a very lonely experience. I pretty much kept to myself. I didn't have a lot of friends, or pretty much any. I had one friend, and he was one of my best friends. We're still friends today. But I had one friend. We weren't really that close back then, but Now, obviously, we're a lot closer since he's my best friend, but back then, pretty much had nobody. So I suffered a lot of pain in school. I'd go through the halls day after day, month after month, year after year, not talking to anybody. I'd go home. I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. Um, at school, I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. On top of that, I suffered a lot of bullying in school, a lot of emotional abuse. I used to get peed on in high school. I used to get shoved in the lockers. Just like you would hear or see out of a movie. Um, that's kind of what I had to go through. Um, I would go home after getting bullied, emotionally abused at school, and I would get emotionally abused by my father, who was drinking at the time. He quit when my brother and sister were born, but it was at that point the damage had been done. But he had bullied me for years when I was in school and out of school, even all the way up until my adult years, until the age of 26 when I left. But it was a constant. I would get bullied by my dad more than I would get bullied by the people and the kids at school. Um, it would just be relentless bullying from him. He would call me names. He would whisper weird things in my ear. He would flip my ear. He would stick his finger in my ear. He would hit me on the side of the head. He would grab onto my shoulders and squeeze my shoulders and hurt my shoulders. It's a very, very sadistic narcissist. I want to say even more than my mom. And I haven't gone into what my mom did yet, but really, the things that my dad did had such a profound effect on me. It just like it pretty much got to the point where I isolated myself, um, watching TV, playing video games, not really caring about making friends anymore or going outside or doing anything. I was essentially a prisoner in my own house. My mom, at the time, was the main aggressor in the house. She still is. I pretty much had to follow her rules, or or I would get it from my dad. So, she controlled all the finances. She would take my birthday money every single year and put it somewhere, and just I would never get to see my birthday money. She would always take it and hold on to it. Um, I pretty much was never allowed to go anywhere outside. I had to stay within close proximity of her at all times. Otherwise, if I didn't, then there would be hell to pay, and she would yell and scream at me, and she would go to different neighbors' houses looking for me because there was no phone, there was no real cell phones back then. So, I mean, when I was the age of 6, 7, 8, cell phones had just started coming out, and there was no real way of contacting me unless it was through the house phone. She would be walking around the neighborhood looking for me in different friends' houses and things like that, calling different friends' houses from the home phone, asking where I am. It never seemed like I was able to go out go out far, not only far, but go out for long periods of time before she would have me back in her clutches and look down at me with like an eagle eye, and just I never had any freedom whatsoever. It was constantly it was so, you have to understand, narcissistic abuse is so much, it sounds similar to helicopter parenting, but this is beyond helicopter parenting. This is someone who is trying to control your life from the ages of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to even your adult years. All the way up to your adult years. And there's many forms of narcissistic abuse, like I said, you can go through, but what I went through, it's explained in my previous video, is infantilization, where the narcissistic parent or narcissistic person treats you essentially like an infant that that can't grow up and will never have the knowledge and skills to will never have to basically they treat you like an infant, and they think you will never have you never be able to acquire the knowledge or skills to grow up and move out. But the sick fact in all this is the narcissistic parent or person or friend or whatever or spouse does not allow you to acquire the skills and the knowledge to move out. This is why they do this infantilization. They treat you like a baby. They manipulate you and they brainwash you into thinking that you will always be this helpless baby that will never be able to do anything on your own, or move out, or pay the bills, or get a job, or hold a job, or anything. They will always treat you like this helpless little baby, because this is part of their narcissistic abuse tactic. This is what they do. This is one of the main things they do. A lot of people who went through this. One of the main things they do to break you down, make you feel completely incompetent, and this stems over years and years and years and years and years of doing this, telling you you're incompetent, withholding your money, maybe making you like a savings account, only giving you a certain amount of money to spend, only letting you go out at certain times of the day for a certain period of time. Maybe they might even help you, find things, tie your shoes. Like they just, it's pure humiliation is what they will do to you over months and months and months and years and years and years. And the person who's receiving the abuse from the narcissist, eventually they just get so broken down, and they just feel so broken down and defeated that they just give in to whatever the narcissist says, because it's truly the most disgusting brainwashing tactic ever, because it's slowly breaking down your mind over time to the point where your mind literally gives out and you give in to the narcissist and you accept defeat, and you accept that you're a worthless piece of garbage that can't do anything, and you'll always be at the mercy of the narcissist, to be able to do anything. And this is basically what happened to me. Is from the time I was a child all the way up to my adult years, I pretty much accepted that I was worthless and I wouldn't ever be able to do anything, because that's what my parents told me, and that's what, and I tended to believe them, because I always failed a lot. I failed in a lot of things in life because I didn't have the advantages that other kids have, and I didn't have the skills that most kids have and most people had at my age to get out of the house and make a living and hold a job and pay the bills, because most of the people, little did I know before, most of those people around me had loving parents. They had a loving support system. They had a loving family. They had people that would bend over backwards for them and do anything for them and teach them anything and make sure that they would succeed. But I thought, in my mind, I thought this whole time that all of my failures were all of my failures and my failures alone, but little did I know that I had such a disadvantage compared to everybody else, and that parents are supposed to be loving and supportive and teach you the life skills that you need to move out. And I honestly thought the years went on, I honestly thought it was my fault. Like, I honestly thought that all of my failures were completely my fault, and I would just continuously blame myself and not see the bigger picture of what my parents were doing, before I knew before I knew what narcissistic abuse even was. But it just makes me think that if I had only found out what they were doing sooner, if I only found out that parents aren't supposed to be like this, and parents are supposed to be loving and caring, and they're supposed to do anything for you, and they're not supposed to guilt trip you into feeling bad for them doing what parents are supposed to be doing by raising a child. And but yeah, these are just some of the ways that narcissistic abuse has affected my life. All the babying and abuse I went through from my mom and dad. My mom holding my finances so I wouldn't be able to move out. My mom preventing me from working, not letting me work or keep a job. Um, my mom not teaching me any life skills. My dad not teaching me any life skills. My mom and my parents constantly calling me and asking where I am, day in and day out. The horrible toxic environment that they created with the constant loud noises, and my parents never allowing me a moment of peace in that house, never being allowed to learn anything or do anything, constantly on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Um, it really was an absolutely horrible experience, and this is part of the reason why I don't get out much of my apartment, and I don't see too many people. I really don't have too many people that understand. I mean, I do have a best friend, like I said, but he doesn't really seem to understand what I'm going through. Yeah, this is kind of like some of the ways that narcissistic abuse has affected my life, and how all the abuse from my parents has affected my life, and just how it affects my life on a daily basis. And I find it, like I said, I find it so hard to get motivated for anything. I find like I have an extreme amount of just apathy for life in general, like just a complete like nihilistic viewpoint of the world. Like whatever I accomplish doesn't really matter, because we as people give these things meaning, like these accomplishments meaning. But like I just can't help but look at like the bigger picture in life. Like, I mean, yeah, we have all these accomplishments and things. We have, people are going after money, people are going after this, they want this medal or this or that. But I just find all of it to be so pointless. Jobs, I find all of it to be pointless. I find any kind of activity or medal or, award-winning activity, or, tournaments or work or money, I just find it all pointless. Because I don't really see the end goal in it all. I mean, you could say, right, some people believe in God, Christianity, religion. Some people, believe that there's heaven, there's a hell, but in the end, nobody really knows what the end goal is. Nobody really knows where we're going to be after in this life. Nobody really knows why we're doing the things that we're doing. And it's just, everything we do, we give it some kind of meaning, some kind of significance. But I just can't help but, keep thinking, like, what does it all mean in the end? Why am I going to care? Why am I breaking my back trying to make something out of my life where, none of it's going to matter in the end? And, some people are going to say, like, oh, like, people, everybody's going to, you have to leave behind a legacy for the people. You have to leave behind some kind of legacy for the people to remember you by. I mean, how do you want people to remember you by? I mean, it's just like, sounds, selfish and narcissistic in itself, but I've come to this point in my life where I'm just total apathy, and I'm just not caring about anything. And I just find it so hard to get out of this mindset and get, find a different mindset, find a different viewpoint, and just find some kind of meaning in my life. But like I said, like, to me, it's so hard to find meaning in my life when I don't know what the real end goal is. Like, I don't know what I'm working towards in the end. I'd live a good life and die, and then that's it. To me, I have to know that there's something more after this. I have to know that there's some kind of reason for me there's some kind of reason for all this suffering. Like, I have to just know the answer. I have to know that I have more than faith to cling on. That I'm going to be, doing something of some kind of significance in the end. Like, there's going to be some kind of afterlife, of some kind of reason why I'm doing all these things in this life. But honestly, those are these are some of the reasons. Like I said, I just wanted to share. These are some of the reasons why I I have trouble just caring about anything or anyone in life. Um, and I strongly believe that's due to all the narcissistic abuse. Um, I do hope that one day I can change it, but as far as right now, I'm really struggling with going through not having so much apathy, and struggling to find some kind of like meaning in life, whatever that may be. um, work, maybe going back to school, maybe helping others. I'm struggling to find the point in doing any of it. But yeah, guys, these are just some of the reasons why I find it so hard to find any meaning in my life and find purpose, and socialize and get out in the world and just move forward with my life. Because narcissistic abuse, it just changes your whole perspective on life. You question everything about your life. You question why you even bother trying anymore. You question if you were even happy in the first place. But like I said, I just wanted to share these reasons as to why I have such a hard time with life and I struggle to find meaning. And I hope that some of you guys can relate to this video, and share and like and comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I will be uploading videos a lot more frequently. I know that I took a huge break. I uploaded one video describing my life story with narcissistic parents, and that was about a year ago. I know this video is about a year later, but I will be uploading videos a lot more frequently, as I will have more time since I've got a job that allows me to have a 4-day weekend. So like I said, I will be uploading more videos a lot more frequently, and I will be having a lot more time to upload videos. So just stay tuned for that. I haven't decided what kind of video I'm going to upload next, but you should see another video within the next week or so. And with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.